every day. I want you to take a look at that cloud when it goes up. See that? You could ask AI right now the chemical compounds that go up in there in tonnage, and just ask them how much it is for the full day of 24 of those being blasted off to go to a dead, dying planet. Let's look at the cover-up between what we've seen so far in our last video, 57 views and one repost, probably done by me, but it comes out to be clear as this. And we'll try to go through these videos as quickly as possible, trying to keep it under 10 minutes. But yeah, we got...
Yeah, some people are like really worried about like cell phone towers, thinking they cause like radiation or something poisoning. This is not true.
Yeah, people are worried about 5G, right?
Don't worry about it.
No, not at all.
I mean, no. Like, look at it this way. Like, if I had cell phones, if I had a helmet of cell phones,
Right?
strapped around my head and around my nuts, I would not
You're
worry.
good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I met a dude.
So you got those...
In the past year,
you got-
Environmental Health Trust.
You got those lies. Environmental Health Trust won against the FCC for not updating their outdated safety guidelines. We're looking at over 40 years. We have...
Utility companies.
You have
They
the...
came up with the number of 50 and said that'll work. And then it was only a factor of 10 for workers.
That's the monkey and rat test
Okay.
we're riding on right
So-
now for our 1996 thermal guidelines. You'll find it in the other videos. This is the Pulp Fiction Edition. What we're trying to do is we're trying to wrap up just the fear lies that Elon Musk has done, whether it be him or his companies. Like the proxy just stopped Edward Davis from speaking.
Stockholder proposal is an advisory vote regarding reporting on effects and risks associated with electromagnetic radiation and wireless technologies. Our board has recommended against for the reasons set forth in the proxy. This stockholder proposal by Lendro Purcell, who's represented Dr. Deborah Davis.
So you heard that, and this is one reason.
Lloyd's of London and Swiss Re have long considered electromagnetic fields to be uninsurable, comparable to asbestos, due to potential health and environmental damages. Tesla shareholders have a right to know how the company insures itself against such risks. The fact that current levels may be legal does not mean they are safe. In fact, U.S. regulations were set more than a quarter century ago. It has been 3 years since the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia determined that the FCC had been, quote, arbitrary and capricious in its failure to consider all of the science and refusal to update wireless limits. Tesla has failed to inform consumers about the measured levels of magnetic fields and wireless radiation within the automobile or their other products. Infants and toddlers by law are strapped into seats to protect them during crashes, but they have no protection from EMF that can go more deeply into their thinner skulls. Inform consumers about the measured levels of magnetic fields and wireless radiation within the automobile or their other products. Tesla has failed to inform consumers about the measured levels of magnetic fields.
So that just seems really, really wrong. So with that being said, you also have a simple solution, right? You get your scientists, Elon Musk, and you go on Joe Rogan's show with all the scientists over at Environmental Health Trust. They have over 256 scientists from 43 nations that signed the international call to protection from non-ionizing radiation. And as you can see, my computer is failing to bring up the page that I already queued up for this video. But that's okay. I can regurgitate it very, very easily. So over Environmental Health Trust, you can actually request to speak with an expert on cell phone radiation and cell phone radiation towers. So why wouldn't you want to do that? Because you would lose money. And as you can see, my computer is still failing during this video. But that's okay. We're going to carry on because we've seen that big cloud. Remember that? Make sure you keep that in your mind. So we're going to look at flow here for the love of water. a documentary that you can watch, and I'm going to see if I can get back my internet. Now, the video as well is crashing. So we're at a standstill on everything. Everything is frozen. And I was trying to keep it under 10 minutes.
The United States does not keep active records of how many people get sick from our water supply every year. There are estimates that from 500,000 to 7 million people get sick per year from drinking. To many of the chemicals comes from the simple act of showering in them. So some of the discharged either by big animal factor pesticides.
Lots of bugs in the system, viruses, pathogens, bacteria. A lot of those things that you think of as stomach viruses or flus, about 40% of those come from your drinking water.
We are not removing things like industrial chemicals, rocket fuel, pesticides, certain pharmaceuticals that were discharged either by
As stomach viruses,
things like industrial chemicals, discharged either by things like industrial chemicals, rocket fuel, 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 pesticides, certain pharmaceuticals, drugs that were discharged either by big animal factories or by sewage treatment plants. A lot of people think they don't have to worry about their water supply because they go out and buy bottled water. Well, we have news for them. In fact, a lot of your exposure to many of the chemicals comes from the simple act of showering in them. So some of these more volatile pollutants come in through your skin.
There are over 116,000 human-made chemicals. We have no idea how they interact. We are becoming experiments for these synthetic chemicals. And when the liver takes these chemicals out of our bodies, what happens? They get flushed down the toilet. And then they go into the aquifer. And then they go into our rivers and streams. We take the water from the rivers and we put it into our public water supply systems, and we're drinking it again.
all those pharmaceuticals, all those cosmetics, all the stuff that's in there, you know what? It's changing the chemistry in our bodies, and it's hurting us.
So our computer is still freezing up, and I want to get on to the next video, and I can't. So the next video is the Joe Rogan experience, right before those statements. And right before those statements, he upplayed the thing on microwave radiation being, needed for everything. Upshotted, Starlink, upshotted the fact that you needed more dense 5G cell towers. So all this, all accumulating, lost in court, 40 plus years old. And look at that, it's screwing up and it's right there. So, you did get a Pulp Fiction Edition with a computer that should not be fucking up like this. But yeah, you watched it live. Look at that, it's fucking frozen. And this shit does not happen. I can't click on anything or nothing. And I already had them all fucking listed up there, and the last video cut out on me. So take it for a grain of salt, but you can find that Joe Rogan experience and listen to it. Listen to it before he says, wrap it on your head and your balls. Listen to it. It's like 15 minutes of praising that shit up and down. Now, why wouldn't you go get a specialist, and I can't click on it, over at Environmental Health Trust? There's a shitload of them over there. A plethora.